Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip how we look at aging. I used to think skin aging was just this sudden, mysterious loss of youth. Like, one day you just wake up and things are fading. But actually, it turns out there's a super fascinating, highly predictable biological system working right beneath the surface. And once you really get how it works, literally everything you see in the mirror starts to make total sense.
So why does skin actually age? To get to the bottom of this, we kinda have to toss out a really common misconception. This idea that your skin just gets tired or suddenly breaks. Instead, I want you to picture your skin like a gorgeous, historic building sitting right in the middle of a busy metropolis. The physical structure of that building, it's absolutely still there, standing tall. But over the years, the paint inevitably fades, the outer walls take a beating from the weather, and those little daily repairs that a dedicated maintenance crew used to handle automatically, well, they just begin to slow down. The building didn't just suddenly break, right? Its internal upkeep changed.
And that brings us to the core idea we're anchoring today's explainer on. Skin aging is a change in the skin's maintenance system, not just a change in appearance. All those visual changes we tend to stress over, the fine lines, the dryness, maybe a little dullness, they're really just the surface-level evidence of a much deeper, quieter shift. When we stop looking at aging as some vague loss of freshness and start seeing it as a predictable shift in a maintenance system, we actually gain a really empowering understanding of our own biology.
Okay, so here is our roadmap. We are going to cover 5 chapters: rethinking how skin ages, the engine under the skin, accumulation and real life, why we age differently, and finally, reading your skin signs. Let's dive right in.
Chapter 1. Rethinking how skin ages, the maintenance shift. The absolutely crucial thing to grasp right off the bat is that skin aging isn't just one single thing going wrong. It's actually a whole collection of systems changing together, really quietly and microscopically, way before they ever show up in your bathroom mirror. Which brings us to Chapter 2, the engine under the skin, the 4 pillars. Because to really understand what's happening over time, we need to pop the hood and look at the engine. Skin age is not a single point of failure. It's the result of several basic things happening all at once.
That engine relies on 4 totally interconnected pillars. We've got renewal, support, moisture, and repair. Think of them as the bright orange indicators on your dashboard. When we're young, these 4 systems work together in perfect harmony, keeping everything up to speed. But when they shift, the visible appearance of our skin shifts right along with them.
Let's start with the first pillar, renewal. So your skin isn't just a fixed cover, it's constantly replacing itself. Think of it like a busy supermarket with regular restocking. When you're younger, deliveries are super frequent, so the shelves always look full, fresh, and perfectly organized. But as we age, that constant delivery of new cells from down below begins to slow down. The surface starts holding on to older cells a bit longer, microscopic gaps appear, and the overall result is a somewhat duller, rougher look. It's not quote-unquote dead skin, it's just skin that is renewing a little more slowly.
The second pillar is support. Right below the surface, your skin relies on this strong scaffolding made of resilient proteins to stay firm and bouncy. It's exactly like the difference between a brand new mattress and an older one. A new mattress feels amazingly supportive because its internal springs are strong and responsive. But over time, as those inner springs inevitably weaken, the surface starts to sag in places. The outer layer of your skin might still be perfectly intact, but because that protein scaffolding underneath is losing its strength, the surface starts showing those structural changes as lines and a loss of firmness.
Okay, our third pillar is moisture. Healthy, youthful skin holds on to water incredibly well. It acts as this tight barrier that keeps the surface beautifully plump and smooth. But aging skin genuinely struggles to hold that water. It acts a lot like a cracked clay pot. You can keep pouring water into it or, religiously applying those really expensive moisturizers, but the natural moisture still escapes through these tiny invisible cracks way faster than it used to. This is exactly why dryness and aging almost always show up together. The system simply can't hold on to hydration the way it once did.
And finally, the fourth pillar, repair. Our skin is constantly fighting off tiny little injuries from the sun, friction, and daily inflammation. To fix this, cells need signals telling them exactly what to do. Imagine a highly coordinated construction crew fixing a building. If the workers and supervisors can communicate instantly, the repair is flawlessly smooth. But with age, those biological signals just weaken. The team communicates slower, and that means everyday damage takes much longer to fix, and the repairs they do manage are often a little less neat and tidy. So, bringing all of that together, we go from super efficient cell replacement to a slowdown,
from firm elasticity to weakened support, from holding water beautifully to losing it easily, and from quick responses to slower, less precise repairs. You aren't seeing one single defect when you look in the mirror, you're seeing this entire coordinated engine running just a little bit slower. Moving right along to Chapter 3, Accumulation and Real Life, the Conflict. What actually happens when we take these internal microscopic shifts and combine them with the harsh reality of external, everyday stress?
Well, this is where the really profound concept of accumulation comes into play. Imagine taking a crisp white notebook page and lightly folding it once. It barely leaves a faint crease, right? That's young skin bouncing back from a small hit. But if you take that exact same page and repeatedly fold it in the exact same place over and over again, that crease becomes a permanent memory in the paper. Skin works the exact same way. It's not fragile from the start, but repeated hits, whether that's from the sun, dry air, or even just physical friction, leave a trace. Over time, as a repair system slows down, those repeated stresses turn into accumulated permanent marks.
So, the absolutely crucial takeaway comes down to this really simple formula. Time plus repeated strain equals visible aging. Honestly, this was a massive aha moment for me. Aging isn't just a byproduct of the calendar pages turning. It is the direct accumulation of everyday strain happening exactly while your internal maintenance system is simultaneously slowing down. Time only really matters because it provides the runway for that repeated stress, the build-up.
Which brings us perfectly into Chapter 4, Why We Age Differently, focusing on environment and exposure. Because think about it. If aging was just a ticking clock, everyone born in the exact same year would have the exact same skin. But we know for a fact that's not true. Let's look at why.
Imagine two totally different scenarios. On one side, you have high accumulation. Someone dealing with intense sun, heat, dry air, and maybe frequent inflammation. On the other side, low accumulation. Far fewer environmental stressors and a much better moisture balance. Even if these two people are the exact same age, their skin is going to look vastly different. Visible aging is a direct reflection of a person's unique personal history of environmental stress pushing against their available repair reserves. It's essentially the story of damage versus repair, written out over decades.
Ultimately, the differences we see in the mirror just come down to how well our four basic systems handle that accumulated damage over time. You could have two people whose systems are naturally slowing down at a similar biological rate, but if one system is constantly getting bombarded by heavy daily stress, that system is inevitably going to show the visible signs of a strained recovery much sooner. The skin simply keeps the receipts.
Finally, Chapter 5, Reading Your Skin's Signs, the Paradigm Shift. This is where we bring everything together and empower you with a totally new framework. We are moving away from seeing random, frustrating symptoms and shifting to thinking like a true observer of a biological system.
Let's turn this into some practical knowledge. When you look in the mirror now, you can actually translate those common complaints into mechanical clues. A line is no longer just a line. It's a sign of repeated folding combined with less structural protein support. Dryness? That isn't just dry skin. It's a symptom of a weaker moisture retention system acting like that cracked clay pot. And dullness is simply a visual indicator of slower cellular renewal, where those older cells are just lingering on the surface. These surface changes are just your skin's way of signaling exactly which part of the maintenance engine needs a little extra support.
You no longer have to view aging as this big mystery or a sudden loss. You now possess a really wholesome first principles understanding of your skin's beautifully complex, hard-working maintenance system. So tomorrow morning, when you look in the mirror, what is your skin telling you?